Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? So I'm live here on Instagram, and am I live here on Facebook? See, yes, there we go. Okay, so I'm doing a live if you're watching it, and I was meant to be doing it on Facebook, which I am, called "Are You Enjoying Your Relationship?" So, and I decided to go on Instagram as well. And Wes, who I work with, said, literally, that's some mad skills you have if you can do that. So apparently I'm functioning from mad skills here. So I wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. And one is it's the 15th of February here today. So it's actually Valentine's Day in, other areas of the world. And we had Valentine's Day yesterday. And God, what an interesting, Valentine's Day is very interesting. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. Interesting. Okay. And what I noticed is it brings up a lot of stuff for some people. I'm really grateful. I don't have a thing about Valentine's Day. I never sort of looked at that I had to celebrate Valentine's Day, but it's got this energy of, like what's the right thing to do? I mean, actually, it was very funny. I was at my local shopping center yesterday in IGA, and they've got this whole section that has flowers. And you could see all these men coming and buying flowers, and they honestly looked like it was the hardest thing in the world to do. And there was this one guy, and he had shorts, lots of tats, like looks like he's a concreter or something like that, like he's a tradie, he's, been out at work all day. And he was looking at all the flowers with this look on his face, just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Whatever I choose is going to be wrong. And I said to him, I was walking out and I went, mate, I said, just choose any flower. Any flower is going to be a great flower, and he looked at me and smiled. And there is this so much pressure on people on Valentine's Day. I had a few people actually text me yesterday and this morning, depending on where they were in the world. One of them was talking about how lonely they are. And I said, are you seriously lonely? Like, do you want, why don't you go watch a good movie and pour yourself a glass of wine or something? Like, are you seriously lonely? Is that your point of view? Like any of those times you're going to those, those feelings of like, oh, I feel like this, I feel like that. And it's like, 98, 99, 100% of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions aren't ours. So you're buying into all this crap that is around the world about what Valentine's Day should be and what you should, quote unquote, feel, right? And then somebody else texted me and said, hey, how do I deal with this? That, I'm not with, the love of my life, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, enjoy you. Like, enjoy you. And, one of the things that I wanted to call this was, are you enjoying your relationships? And I wasn't referring to just the relationship that you're having if you're, having sex with someone at the moment, because that's literally what it is. You go, I'm having sex with someone and, that's the person you're shagging. You put this into a category. What if there was no category for starters? What if there's no category? What if you had no category of any relationship? That's insane, Simone. I know it is. You know what? Would you actually enjoy your relationships more? If you look at the five people in your life that you maybe reach out to the most, you may or may not copulate with them, that you reach out to the most. It's like, do you enjoy them? Do you honor them? Do you trust them? Do you have gratitude for them? It's like, are you enjoying your relationships? And one of the people I work with, when I said, hey, I want to call this live this, are you enjoying your relationships? And they went, yeah, that's a good one because it makes me like a bit angry. I was like, cool. And I'm not looking to make you angry at all. Okay. What I would like to invite you to is to function from that place of, okay, are you enjoying your relationships? And if you're not, what can you change? Okay, so if you're not, what can you change? You know, a lot of people look at family and say that family has to be, you know, who you spend a lot of time with, or you spend these important days with, etc. Why? It's like, do you have other people in your life who maybe you're closer to? You know, maybe you're closer to. It's like maybe you actually enjoy more. Maybe you have more fun with them. So one of the things that we had this big event in South Africa at the beginning of this year with Access Consciousness. And one of the things we spoke about was called presumptive realities. Now, if you look at what's presumptuous, it's like you presume. So even just look at the energy here, okay? You can know something about Access Consciousness. You can know nothing about it. But what I want you to have a look at is how many presumptive realities do you have with your relationships? Like, look at your relationship maybe with your kids, with your parents, with your friends, with your colleagues, you know, with your lovers, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever it is. And how many presumptive realities do you have of what it should be? Like the expectations, the projections. What if we could eliminate all of that? Like, what if we could just eliminate all of the presumptive realities? And a way to, you know, to start doing that too is to use the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And if you don't know about the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, which hopefully maybe Wes, you can put that on my Instagram and on the Facebook as well, or somebody. Or just remember it, guys, you know, theclearingstatement.com. And myself and Dr. Dane here talk about it. And it's a great tool with Access Consciousness. So if we do this right now, how many presumptive realities do you have of the people you've decided are the closest to you in your life? Notice there's an energy that comes up, and everything at that is times a godzillion, which is a number only God knows, it's so big, where you destroy and uncreate it, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Now, here's the interesting question too, is how many presumptive realities do you have of being in a relationship or being single? Like, how many people do you know, including yourself? Like, this is, you don't have to tell me, but it's like, what if you were totally vulnerable with yourself? How many people do you know that choose the rightness of being in a relationship? Oh, I'm in a relationship, then I'm choosing the right thing. Or I'm single, I'm choosing the right thing. Well, where did choice just go? Choice just got thrown out and got completely and utterly eliminated. What if every single day you got to choose what works for you, and you got to choose to surround yourself by people who are a contribution to you? So therefore, yes, you are enjoying your relationships. You have this, you know, sense of growth with them. Like for me, it's like I love hanging out with people who we get to, you know, talk possibilities, explore possibilities. That's one of the most attractive things in the world to me. If we get to explore possibilities rather than just the, I don't know, the mundane, it's like, you know, this reality, do you fit into this reality? Has it ever made sense to you? Or would you prefer something bigger, something greater, something where you actually stepped outside of your comfort zone? That's the relationships I like to hang out with, is the people who encourage me to step outside of my comfort zone and to explore something different. And a great question to ask with that is, what else is possible? So what else is possible? What else is possible with all of your relationships? What else is possible with your relationships with your friends, you know, with your colleagues, all of it? Like, so right now, will you destroy, for Valentine's Day, whether it was yesterday or today, whatever it is for you, will you destroy and uncreate all of your current relationships? Now, what do you mean? I'm not going, hey, now you've got to break up with someone or you've got to go do this. No, just destroy and uncreate all of the points of view that you have, all of the projections, all of them. Okay. All right. Let me slow down for a second. It's like, put your attention on at least 3 people. Okay. You can do 10, 20, 100 if you want, but put your attention on at least 3 people that you consider are close to you. Okay. Now put your attention on them. How many projections do you have of them? How many expectations do you have of them? And sometimes you verbalize it, and sometimes they're just energetic. You know, it's like you expect them to do X, Y, Z. or you have these projections, which when you have the projections and expectations, it creates a judgment and creates a separation between you and them, like the rejection of what you could be having. And for me, what if you could have a closeness that is like you can have with nature? There is no judgment. There is no time. There's no distance. You just get to be. So if you have your attention on those at least 3 people, and all the presumptive realities that you have about them and about you and about the relationship that you guys have together, that it has to work, it has to last, or whatever it is, will you please destroy and uncreate it? Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all 9, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Look, relationships is a really interesting topic. And like I said before, you're supposed to get it right. Someone said, we're in a meeting this morning, and we have relationships on different facilitators all over the world. So please check it out, relationshipsdonedifferent.com, and also on the Access Consciousness website. And I have a class coming up, I don't know when, next month. Next month, at the end of the month. There you go. I have the lovely relationship I have with one of the fabulous people I work with. Wes is on the back end, and he just put the little link up on Facebook for me. So relationships.different.com. But I have a class coming up at the end of next month, and there's lots of we call them RDD facilitators who do these classes. And it's one of the classes I see that a lot of people avoid. And I was in this meeting this morning about the upcoming class, and someone said in the meeting, you just grow up wanting to have the right relationship. You just want to get it right, get the marriage right, get the kids right, like all the choices. But what if that's not what we're meant to do? Like, what if we are meant to stumble and fall? And then it's, what are you going to choose the next day? Like, I thoroughly enjoy my life. I freaking love my life. I was just at the hairdresser's. Yes, I know. I did not do this, but love the color, love the hair. And I was just at the hairdresser's, and she was asking me about my job, and, that sort of indication, which a lot of people do, of like, hey, do you get to have time off, or blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I know it sounds really cliche or a bit cheesy, but I honestly have that sense that every day is a holiday for me and every day is a work day. And people always look at you like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, I love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. And every day I'm doing some form of work, and every day I'm like some form of play. It's like I get to enjoy me. I get to enjoy my body. I get to enjoy my work. I get to enjoy all the relationships that I have around me. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not just saying that. I actually do. So here's what I would like to invite you to is, do you? And if you don't judge it. But what can you change? What would you have to change in order to start enjoying all the relationships that you have, and especially the one with you? Like, what if you write down 8 things? Write down 8 things that would need to change. It doesn't have to be like these, mountains of things that have to change, or this, big, massive hardship. It's like, no, what's 8 things that would need to change for you to start enjoying yourself more? Start enjoying your relationships more, maybe with those 3 people that I said, hey, put your energy on them. And it's not about going to that person and saying, hey, you need to change these 8 things or else. No, this is not about reaction. It's not about threatening. It's about being totally vulnerable with yourself and having the courage to have a look at, is what you are currently choosing working for you? And if it's not, change it. It's that simple. If it's not, change it. And I know that may piss people off because they go, oh, but she doesn't know my story. She doesn't know this. She doesn't know that. And it's like, guys, your story is boring. Sorry, but it is. It's boring. And it's like, how many presumptive realities do you have that you must maintain your story so that you can keep the image that you've built up that you don't even like? Crazy. So everything in that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all 9, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. Start inviting more people into your life that work for you, okay? So here's something that I did a few years ago. About 4 years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, I've started asking for more kind people to show up in my life. And I literally sat there. I was in Costa Rica, at breakfast, and I looked at her and I went, that's brilliant. I'm stealing that. So here's my suggestion. If you want to, it's like, steal it, make it yours. And I started asking for more kind people to show up in my life. And I can tell you that more kind people have shown up in my life. So it's a request. It's like, demand of yourself and request of the universe of what it is that you're asking for. And what if you could start enjoying all of your relationships? And I'm going to add again, I know I said it before, but especially the one you have with you and your body and everything that you choose, because this is your wonderful life. You have nobody else to blame for what is showing up and what is not showing up. This is your life. So what if you start choosing it? So I'm going to say happy Valentine's Day to you for today or yesterday or whenever the frig it was, and enjoy you, no matter what it takes, no matter what it looks like. And if you have heard of Access Consciousness, then check out some of the upcoming classes. If you haven't, then go check them out as well. It's like relationshipsdonedifferent.com. Like I said, I have a Relationship Done Different class at the end of March, and it's online, so you can join from anywhere in the world. You get a manual. It's brilliant. And we get to play, basically. It's like we get to play. We get to explore and, discover more possibilities, because you're not wrong. And it's also stop trying to get it right. There's so much more choice available. So what are you going to choose? So thank you so much for joining me here, and big hugs and big kisses to you all over the world. And thank you, Wes. You're amazing. He's my, we call it the back end bitch. When you go to nightclubs and you'd be able to have a door bitch? Well, that's what we used to call it anyway, the door bitch, on the door, checking your ID or checking that you had a tag on. So our back end, we have a back end bitch. It's Wes. So thanks, Wes. And thank you, everybody else. All right. Mwah. Good night, everybody, or good day, wherever you are in the world. Wes, you can end the StreamYard and I'll end the Facebook. That's my job. Okay. Mwah. Instagram. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMilasas.com and follow me on Instagram at SimoneMilasas, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change, and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes. And lastly, have way too much fun today.